this is where I take a half an hour when I got time for the week and get to just uh, bitch about what I want to. Okay, that's pretty much. But also, I want to open this up. We can put 10 people on here. Also, I'll have it open each day for people that want to anything that you got a topic or a concern or a complaint or anything. I like for it to stay local. I feel we got enough news media covering what's going on all around the world here constantly, and not enough home coverage. So if it's local, or if you're doing an event local, or anything like that, so we'll see. Anyway, 12:30 to 1. I know some weeks get kind of hectic with other things going on. Um, I'm getting a real experience in this court bit. uh, I appealed my case, and I went to this is a new rim for me to learn in, another a whole new ballpark here. And I tried looking on Google a little bit on some of this, but didn't have much success really. Maybe I just wasn't wording it right to get what I needed, but I said, what the heck? Just go down there and ask them what it costs to do an appeal. We're just looking around here if you can't find that answer on there. So I just decided to go downtown there, and I went to the appeals office, and it's right there by where you file for your cases. And I asked, what's it cost to appeal? She said $35. Big smile on her face, happily, $35. I thought, something didn't seem right about that, but I'm not going to argue with it. 35, that's fine. That's I can handle that. I'm going to be stupid not to. 35. That's I done paid almost $500 over around 400. So, and I'm not satisfied with the judge and the response here. So yeah, for 35. And about a week later, I get another notice. I got to pay another $35. And I'm not sure it's because I added an extra addition to it or if that's normal. I'm going through some new ground here. I did add on to my, because after I filed the appeal, I talked to the attorney for a little while and I got a better view. And the attorney is not arguing about the irregular numbers, that there's not something wrong there. You got to admit, if you had 100 people voting 1 year and next year you only have one, you got to think something went wrong, right? So just trying to give you a sample somewhere, there's a number, it's got to stand out. I think when you drop 50%, that's enough for me to want to. And then I dropped 90% on my own personal. So those numbers are enough without any indication the causes drop to say that there's possibly something wrong here. And so that they're not arguing that. He's arguing the fact that I'm suing the wrong party this time. That's what happened last time when I tried to sue the police and the mayor and all of them. You don't do it individually. You sue the whole city. They're protected under an umbrella. And that umbrella is put in place by people that we let get in office, just like Matty Parker. They'll start changing rules to protect them and give them more power over us. That is something that needs to be reexamined. I think we should be able to sue the individual down there, not the city. When you sue the city over what Matty Parker does, it doesn't affect her. So she can be as bad, make as many mistakes, but she's not going to feel the penalty. We are, because it's our money is being used to pay off the suit. It has to have some kind of penalty towards the person too. It needs to be re-looked at, modified, and they have to take some kind of responsibility for these things that they do. But they're protected because we let them get in and do it, and we think it's okay. Generation after generation sees it that way, and accepts it. It's okay. Well, the things you're saying are not acceptable. We got to change them, and it's like this charter here. This came out, and I remember this back in 20. What was the date on there somewhere? But oh yeah, there it is, 2006 when it came out, and the one before it was about 10 years. So about every 10 years, we need to go over our charter and kind of modify. Now this is just a piece of the charter. If you go to the city website or Google or whatever, you get Fort Worth Charter. Any city you go to, their charter, that's like the DNA of a body. That's the DNA, And there's over, I don't know how many hundreds of things on there on the charter, propositions, ordinance, all that kind of stuff. But that's the heart of a lot of this stuff. This is what they pulled off the charter to modify. These 12 propositions they pulled off of there. But there's several hundreds of different ones. These are the ones they pulled off to bring up to date and modify. And one thing that's wrong is 12's too many. I think, about 5 is enough for people to have time to examine and give a full answer. To study 12 of them good. Some of them are really not no-brainers. I'll admit there's some, but there's some very important ones on here that nothing to do with that. Oh, here it is. But there's some that's very important. And on this charter thing, when they put this on the ballot, the voting, this is what I put out this leaflet. I had it laminated, and I had the idea. I put them at some of the dentist offices and doctor's offices. I try to sit to them and put them on their end table while people are waiting. They can look. I didn't want to take it, but I wanted to be able to look and be aware of it. And something they can read while they're sitting there. It's educational. It's kind of hard to get any of this stuff in there because they think you're trying to do something wrong here or favor a candidate or something. I don't know what it is, but this is something that's good. What I was trying to do to get more people involved. Because there was no one voting on the charter. When I went to one of the meetings, we didn't have about 4 people there. The city didn't advertise it. This is something that should have been put on a billboard. And the main proposition should have been put on the billboard is, let me see, I should have looked over this a little bit and see which proposition it was that allowed them to, they had 2 more council members. Okay, maybe it's proposition 2. Yeah. Members of council, here we go. Problems to amend and increase the number of city councils to 11. So, this here. And this is the city's, from the city's website, this for and against stuff. These were the propositions on the ballot. And you got to vote on it. But less than 1% of the city voted. Less than 1% because no one knew about it. And that adding 2 more council members, that's what Proposition 2 did. It added 2 more council members, which cost us several $100,000. It only passed by 120 something votes. There were only, 1,500 votes for and 1,300 something again, or 1,400 something against. It was real close, but it would have been about 1,500 votes. 3,000 votes total for the whole city because it wasn't advertised. They ran around and did some task force meeting, but they didn't want anybody to know about it. And, but anyway, they railroaded this through, and it should have never went through. It was inconclusive, and I started yelling, this is inconclusive data. You got to put it out there and let people know and get a bigger turnout than that on it. If you're going to add 2 more council members, more of the people need to be involved and know this. But they didn't want that. They want bigger government and smaller. That makes us weaker. And that's what we got extra. And this next census coming up, I'd like to redistrict towns, and I'd like to put it back on the chart again, reduce back down to 8. I'd like to take it down to about 6 or 7 because we don't need that many. It's ridiculous. We don't need that many. We just need not more council members. We just need honest council members is what we need. And we have that. And that's all you need. Take a congressperson in Mark Beasley's district, there's over 700,000 people. That's one person, 700,000 people. Now, we don't have that many near that in a district or whatever we break this up. So I don't see why a couple 100,000 in your district, why you're not doing it. They're not there answering questions, doing it. The group we got in there, we don't need but 4 or 2 because they're not answering questions, doing anything anyway, really. But I'd like to see that go back down. But that was really a scam. Because I yelled for 5 years to put it back on the ballot, put it on billboards, and then see if it'll pass. Because it was just too low. The numbers were insufficient. So inconclusive the way it was done. That needed to be changed. Now, there's some other things on here that need to be changed too. I'm not sure if one of them on here, but that one it's probably not on here. But when I say go back to the charter, if they're going to put in 2 council members on the strength of less than 1% voting, maybe less than 1% is all we need on a petition to remove them. Does that sound fair? And if they had to live under that kind of rule, they won't be doing the shenanigans and things they're doing now. What they did at the last meeting was just unreal. Matty Parker has no respect for anybody out there. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And the last council meeting, the way they changed things to hide things, and to cover things up. So they're about as crooked as can be. But if it only took 1% on petition to remove them, they wouldn't want to act that way, because that's a feasible goal. That would be very feasible. I'll give you another one, maybe. Perhaps like in our district, I wanted to remove Deborah Peoples. Well, it would take 20,000 signatures, and 20,000, and we had less than only 3,000 voted. I mean, how are you going to get that many to sign? You can't even get that. Look at the number difference. So why don't we change that? Let's modify it on the charter. Let's bring it on and put it on the ballot, a yes or no vote, and change that to remove the council member. Let's put on there, if you got elected by 2,000 votes, that's what got you in office. If people can get a petition up and get 2,000 plus one saying to remove you, that should be sufficient. And all you got to do, if you do your job right, this is no fear to it. But when they don't do their right, and they don't know what they're doing, like Deborah People, she doesn't know what she's doing. She'd be scared of something like this. They don't want this in because they don't know. They don't have the qualifications to be in these spots. I'd rather have people that have qualification, and we'll have better qualified people in there and more honest people in there if they know that they're not so well. We take down that they got an iron shield, they got a dome around them. Trump wants to put a dome around our country to protect us from incoming missiles. Well, council put themselves a strong dome around them against us, and they use our money, and they use our money to make it run, and they make us run for them, work for them. So that's a proposition that needs to be changed from what it is now to whatever number you got elected plus one. I think that's fair, but it needs to be at least examined and put on there. There's another one here that they just changed the days on because it was 6 months, and you'd have to look up down here and find out. I forgot where it's at, but the really wasn't much of anything. It was just how long you live here before you run for office. There were 6 months, and they wanted to change it from 6 months to like 180 days, which is basically 6 months. It just helped the calendar by going 180 days and going by 6 months with it changing every few days. So that was a normal modified. That was one of those no-brainers modified thing. The only thing about it is that, and I made this point, it shouldn't be changed up to 180 days. It should be changed to something like, I think you ought to live here at least 5 years before you run for local office. I want to know that you've got some roots. I want to know if you know the city. I want to know that you're going to do your civic duty. You've been down to some council meetings or bond meetings. If you want to run for this spot, learn it a little bit before. Show that you have a compassion for it. You just want to show up, get put in there, and be a puppet so that you can better yourself, your own self-centered self. I don't want that. That's what we got down there. That's all we got down there right now. So, yeah, I like to get those people out and put in people that care. And I think older people, if do it, I'd say 50 years older. 50 or older. I don't know, things changed in my time, how old 50 is. I still may be way young, but at least in your 50s older, because most people by that time are getting closer to where they're not so much chasing their goat. Either they made their goat, or we're going on the other side of the hill. You're going to start on the downside then. You start going down. So something to do on the downside. as you get older, especially if you're 60, 70 years old. This is perfect. You've got time. The kids are grown. If you own your property, if you're financially self-sufficient financially, the pay's fine. 25,000 is like a tip. That's fine. That is plenty enough. Because you're not there to make money. You're there to serve the city. You're there. Someone has to do this job, but we need someone to do it that's honest. And we got people right now doing it that's not honest. And the way we change this is we have to. Well, I'm just afraid most of these people are in such a generation, been, I guess you say, brainwashed not to worry about local government. As long as you're happy, don't worry about it. But I, I don't know. I think you need to take a look and see what's going on, because what they're doing it's just not right. It is just not right whatsoever. And but uh, one thing is it's across the board too, our schools, and that's where I'd like to get into and try to get another generation growing up, because if we can get into our school board and get people run for school board at here and get into the schools to start teaching these kids at an early age and all the way through school, from the early age on up all the way to high school, that it is a responsibility to take care of your city. No one else's, but you live there, you inherit a responsibility. Now, no one forces you to uphold that responsibility. You have to do that on your own. And that's what you got to be taught in school, because these people nowadays, unless something binds them or makes them do it, they don't do it. And unfortunately, I'm the same way. I didn't know what was going on years ago, so I don't want to be a hypocrite. Well, I would be if I was still wasn't doing it, but I do my part. And more, I guess, trying to make up for all the time that I should have been doing it. So I've been doing it extreme. Well, now I've been doing it like on steroids or something. But anyway, if they learn to take care of the city and be involved just a little bit, that's all it takes from each one. When you have at least 70% of your city involved, it doesn't take much to run it. It runs good, it runs smoothly. Matter of fact, it can run nicely. It can do so many things, and you can feel good about yourself. But we letting it go, we wind up with bad areas, people suffering, and the wrong people in office that might just take the city into the ground if we don't pay attention. Because we got a bunch of kids in there, and I'm not trying to frighten anybody into anything or use that scare tactic. I don't know. I just know that we're being ripped off. I do know that, no doubt about it. I bet there are so many contracts that can be renegotiated and shave off thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. But with Maddie Parker, she gives them out. And plus, this time she may not run again, because I realized the reason why she didn't stop last time. She did her first job, took care of Betsy Price so she wouldn't go to jail. And I thought she'd step down because she did her job. So maybe to make it look good, she stayed another term, and they put $2 million into her campaign. Now that is just as obvious. And $2 million, not one of the candidates running against her even had money for signs to go up against her for mayor. So she did not need no $2 million. But the reason they do it that way is how everybody chips in on that sign over there that owns our city, these developers and Basses and people that own us and bought her. That's how she gets paid off. Because see, they chunk in a few $100,000 each or whatever, or 500,000, whatever, and then it's a tax write-off. So yeah, they take care of it. They use it as one of the tax write-offs, and it's that simple. And she'll get that money through other forms. It's not that hard to channel that money down a drain through an organization, and it will come back around to her in one way or another. They will benefit from it. Grant you that. No doubt about it. There's no need to put $2 million. $2 million? Before Maddie Parker, Betsy Price only ran about $400,000. Last time she ran, 400,000 or 500,000. The first race, everybody had about 400 or 500, and Maddie, they put $1 million into her, so she was double everybody, because they had to put her in the first race she ran, first time. They had to, and we jumped all the way up to $1 million. That's what I can't believe that, $1 million into her, and they had to. because they wanted her in there because the police chief, Fitzgerald, was still pending to go to court and had to be settled. So she stayed to make sure that was done right. And he got his $5.5 million, and and didn't go to court. And then Bessie Price gets away with robbing the city of ever how much she robbed us for it. And glad she didn't make it as the county judge. But nevertheless, this is so crooked. It's so obviously crooked. But here's the answers here is the people. And that's what I'm doing here each day, is trying to get more people aware of what's going on. And this charter thing, you may go look at it on the website. Look it up and look at all the propositions. This one here, you can study these. You want to see what all, I think there was some more on there that I was interested in, but I didn't read it. I just found it a while ago. I've been looking for it. Um, but anyway, this is what needs to come back up on the ballot. And it needs only about five. Five's enough or less. And the main ones that I'd like to see put on the ballot is, let's put term limits. You know why Arlington has term limits? Because they got people that vote. Dallas has more people that vote. That's how they got term limit. You know, let's look at term limits. Let's see if we can't get it on the ballot. That's what we need on the ballot. Campaign contribution limits, and stop at $2 million. 150 grand is enough for mayor. That's plenty enough money. If you can't get in there with 150 grand, you don't need to be in there because you have no idea how to manage money. You're stupid. Okay? And we don't want that for our mayor. We need a mayor with some kind of management understanding. Well, you know, maybe it's not so much management. These people, I don't know if it's management or crookedness. Both, maybe. It could be either one. But they're so dishonest. So we need an honest and a person that can manage. 150 is plenty enough, and 100,000 for the income. But anyway, I'd love to draw these plans up for what we need to put on the ballot. Third thing, let's change the percentage or the petition that it takes to remove these jocos. You cut that down, like I said, to those numbers there. They're listed. You can possibly get those, and they know it. And that would keep them more on their toes. That'd help us get more honest if we had to put things back like that. On the ballot, I know that's one. Oh, the amount of time you live here. That 6 months is not long enough. When you talk about putting in like $2 million into a mayor, yeah, that's chicken feed to come in here and rent an apartment for 6 months and bring anybody from anywhere in the United States in here and put them in that apartment for 6 months and put them on that ballot and have the right people to vote that's going to back this thing, and you can put them right there as our mayor, anybody. That's not good enough. I think 5 years, because we want a real people. This is not a job at Jiffy Lube. This is the city. It's only one job like this. And we need to put the right people in. The city's standards should be held higher than the private market. But the private market standards is 10 times higher than our cities. You can't fire people. That's something that needs to be changed and looked into, how that's done, you know? So these things are the things that we need to clean up our city and that's neglected and is allowed to run wild. We start putting some standards back and some moral values, then we've got a better chance of, having our city run. But that's mainly the charter is one thing I wanted to put on here. Here's something. Now, see, a couple of years ago, I ran ads in the Fort Worth Weekly, or what's it called, Fort Worth Week, maybe. Anyway, for 10 months, I ran this was a half-page ad. I ran these in there every month. And another person chipped in $100, which was really great. So I paid $400, he paid $100, and I want to spend about $4,000 a year putting out ads there. Trying to see if that'd get people involved. Just didn't reach the people, really didn't pay off. But also, I went back to, I threatened council, because I showed them down there. I threatened them with a full-page ad. I said, we're going to start putting full-page. And as soon as I said that, when I went back to start running it, I was going to run a full-page ad. They sent it back, they pulled it. I paid my money, everything ready, and the day it was about to go out, they pulled it. And it came back. And so what happened? And they said, well, we gotta edit this thing. and they changed all the words up they watered it down is what they did. That's all. I'm not paying $1,000 to have a watered down ad. You know, the reason why my ad had that free speech is because somewhere on here we have a disclaimer. Maybe you can't see it up here, but there is a disclaimer that we put on every ad that protected the paper. That it was a disclaimer that cut them from it. So there was no, it was city council. Someone in the system got to them and shut it down. So we couldn't say as we wanted to, and I'm not going to run. The 10 ads that I did get in, we had freedom. And I was worried first time I ran one whether or not they were going to run it. And they did, and I thought, great going. I had freedom to say whatever I wanted to say, and I did. And that's good. But anyway, it just didn't really, when you don't know if something's going to pay off until you do it. And you had to keep trying. So, but anyway, that was interesting. Let's see. I always like to show this picture. It's interesting. In Tombstone, I got to go there before. It's a cool town. But in 1884, one of the citizens of Tombstone, well, it said here, the doctor's coroner report, he died of emphysema of the lungs. Yeah. Well, that's what the doctor report said. So when you did something wrong in that town, they had law and order, didn't they? So what we need to do is call city council. Tell them so that free speech at the, I didn't get it in there in the slot, did I? Okay. But anyway, it's coming up in October. Our free speech is gone. Let's see what's in this one here. I was just that's kind of a want to use there. But anyway, okay, we're going to call it. I had a couple other things queued up, but we'll put them away for tomorrow. It's almost approaching. One thing I want to try to do, it's 2 minutes till. Well, it doesn't matter if I go late. What matters is that you start on time. So when you do something, for one of the things you need to do is always start on time. That makes you know that. I'll put this up while I'm saying that. It's a friend of mine's promoter. This is how he promoted. He used to work for me, actually, back in the years, and I was going to get into this business myself. But city council just changed my whole thing, and maybe in the next few years, whatever, I may be able to get back to if I got some life left. I'd like to book mans like this and get back into the business, but right now I can't do it. My conscience won't allow me. It's just too bad, and we got to take care of home first. So, but anyway, until the next show, I guess it'll be Monday if I do one then on that. And so, well, let's just close out with what I like to close out with. Let Maddie close my show. That's the best way to close it, isn't it?
She's just too young to be a mayor, I'll tell you. That's Maddie Parker right there.
Enough.
But you can't take
Don't follow me out. You're done. I don't want you in my face.
No, ma'am.
I want you to be done.
No, ma'am. I'm not
You're
done. I'm not done, ma'am. I am not done. I'm a citizen and I'm not done. This is a public building. You do not own it. You do not own it.
You don't have
You do not own it,
I'm
ma'am.
done.
You do not own it. This is a public building.